name of the village was Malur. It was already 10 p.m. And luckily for me, there was some sort of a makeshift house, like a hut. You know, in the Philippines we have the bamboo huts, like that. And there was a door, and I knocked on the door, and the Brahmin answered, and he was shocked that the Westerner was there. And I said, Swamiji, Narasmha darshan? And he said, no, jungle. Spoke a little English. Jungle, 5 kilometers jungle. I said, really? It made me very excited to walk in the jungle at night. He said, no, danger, danger. And then I became more excited, you know. And he said, no, please, now we having dinner. You come. And he was so kind. He let me stay in their hut with them. He said, morning we leave, 4:30 a.m. And he woke me up 4 a.m., took the shower, bucket shower, and then we started walking in the pitch black. Luckily this was summertime, so no, it wasn't summertime actually. It was like now, October, November. But we started walking on a small path, I just remember big trees. My flashlight, he also had a flashlight. And as the light started coming up, we came to a spring, and it was the most amazing thing, like this rock, big boulder, and there was a hole, and the water was kind of spraying out of it, like a big, like spraying out into this crystal clear, small, like stream, crystal clear, in the middle of the jungle. And the Swamiji, the Pujari, said, okay, now we take another bath before the puja. So I put it was a little cold. It was becoming winter, you know. I put my hands in the water, and it was warm. And when I caught the water, there was like glittery gold specks shining. The sun was coming through the trees as the sun was rising. And then I put it on my face, and I never forget it. I felt like I was reborn. And then I said, Swamiji, what is this? He said, oh, this is Amrita, the water from the gods. He said, Amrita? I said, yes, take shower. So I went right in this crystal clear stream and started fully submerged. And I came out, and I thought I was like a new young boy again. I felt purified. And then on the sides of the little stream, there was all these beautiful plants hanging in the water. And he said, drink the water. And I drank the water, and I felt like I was having some ecstatic experience or something. I was seeing like stars or something. Could have been because I was very tired and hungry and thirsty. But he kept saying, Amrita Kund, Amrita Kund. And then after this experience, we started walking, and we came to a cliff. Kind of like this painting behind you, you see Govardhan. It was like this, like a wall. But you walk up a little bit, and then there was trees growing out of the cliff, huge banyan trees, and the things were hanging. And then there was just a small entrance to a cave. And the Pujari said, wait 1 minute. He went inside the cave. I was very excited. I couldn't wait, you know, like, I want to go in. But he told me to wait. So I heard the bell, like he was waking up Narasmha. And then I could see some light, like he was lighting some lamps. And then he said, come, come. And then I went inside, I had to bend down, and it opened up into a cave, kind of like this big, but it was a proper cave inside. And there he was on the wall, this gigantic, like almost 3-meter Jwala Narasmha with 8 arms holding the weapon, standing. And there was some sort of like crystal effulgence around him. And the pujari started offering a big lamp, and I could see this huge head and the hair and the face and the mouth. I was like out of my mind in amazement. And then I paid my dandavats, and the Swamiji said, come, you touch Narasmha. So I touched one of his arms, and it went like this. Like human, you squish it. It was like a human body. And at first I was like, what? This is so weird. He said, nah, Narasmha. Half man, half human. You feel? And he was touching him also. And I was like, maybe I'm on drugs or something? After I drank this water, I was like, are you sure this is happening? So I sat back and I started chanting, And then the Brahmin wanted to do Abhishek, so he went to get some water at the Kund. So I got up again. Okay, let me try again. What the heck? So they call him the living Narasmha. Unfortunately, they ruined it. It's on YouTube now. They ruined the cave. They put some temple on the wall. Like, so sad. But anyways, that was one of my many, many experiences. And then after we had darshan, he also brought some boga. He offered some curd rice. So then after the offering, we had a nice breakfast. We're sitting outside the temple, and some old guy from nowhere walks up, and he has a limp, like his leg is hurt. They start talking. Very old guy, he must have been 85, 90, but healthy, like somebody who lives in the jungle. Like you could see, he wasn't wearing a top, just dhoti, but like muscle guy, And I said, who is this guy? Oh, he's Jungle Man. Call him Jungle Man. He is like guarding the temple and cleaning the area, cleaning the inside of the cave every day. And only a few months back, the tiger caught him and was dragging him to kill him into the past Narasmha's temple. And the pujari told me, I said, what did he do? He said, he screamed, Narasmha, you cannot let me die. I must keep your temple clean. Narasmha, help me. And immediately when he was screaming, Narasmha, the tiger, let him go. And stopped. And just walked away into the jungle. Disappeared. And the tiger did not scratch too much. He bit, but he didn't hit any arteries. But he damaged. He showed me. He had a big teeth mark, on his thigh. And he didn't stop him. It didn't scare him. He still sleeps in the jungle. Crazy guy. Many years later, I heard he passed away in old age after he was cleaning Narasmha's temple. And he was cleaning his temple, and then he passed away the same day. At some 95 years old. And there's so many amazing adventures like this in Andhra Pradesh. But now we have to move on to Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu. I told you yesterday, the people in Andhra Pradesh, the ones that spoke English, said Tamil Nadu is useless, only fishermen, ocean, there's nothing there. It was like this rivalry, right? And I didn't believe it, so I got on a bus. Now I was going to the main place called Chennai. right? Madras. And when I was getting close to Madras, I saw one signboard, advertisement. It said, American hot chocolate. So it had been a long time since I had Maya. So I needed a fix, And in America, we like hot chocolate. Especially the winter time is cold, you put, nice chocolate. Hot, fresh cow's milk, then you put chocolate. So I was thinking of this, oh my God, this would be so nice. So many austerities, now I get to have chocolate, hot chocolate. So I told the bus driver, and he said, okay, I'll tell you when, the shop. And then after some time, 15 minutes or so, he stopped and said, oh, there's the place. It was called Cafe Coffee Day. They also had chocolate. And the sign says American hot chocolate. So I walked inside and I was wearing, my small dhoti, my wooden shoes. I had the pot, kamandalu, and no top, just the small chadar. And I was traveling on buses, so a little dirty. The dhoti was not so clean. And I walk inside, all these Indians, they're wearing nice shirts and shoes, and I go right to the front of the line. I said, excuse me, ma'am. I want one hot chocolate. You have whipped cream? No whipped cream, only hot chocolate. I said, okay, I take one. 3 rupees was the cost. So I'm standing there, and 2 young girls, beautiful girls, teenage girls, I think they were 19 at the time. Sisters, they come walking up to me. They said, excuse me, where are you from? Perfect English. And I was just ignoring them because I was focusing on my hot chocolate coming, They said, excuse me, where are you from? What are you doing here? Why are you dressed like this? So I thought, okay, these annoying girls asking me so many questions, because I came from the jungle for 6-7 months. Nobody asked me questions, or if they asked me questions, I didn't understand anything because it was in another language. But these girls were like pestering me. So I thought, okay, I'll get rid of them. I'll tell them I'm going to find Narasmha. They won't have a clue, because they were dressed in like non-Hare Krishna clothes, nice top, nice pants, What do they know? I thought. I said, listen, girls. I said, come on, girls. I'm just trying to enjoy my hot chocolate, please. They said, yeah, but like, what's your deal? Like, what are you doing? I said, you know what? You know what I'm doing? I am searching for Narasmha. I said, you probably don't even know who he is. I said, Narasmha Dev, Bhagwan. And they said, oh yes, we know Narasmha. And you should come meet our mother. I said, meet your mother? Why? If you want to know Narasmha, you have to meet our mother. She is expecting you. I said, what? These crazy women telling me that their mother's expecting me for what? Maybe marriage or something? They're trying to trick me? And finally I get my hot chocolate. The girl says, sir, one American hot chocolate. So I'm like just about to sip. I tasted the most disgusting hot chocolate ever in my life. And I put it down, and they said, so why don't you come home with us? We're going. I said, you're serious? They said, yeah, look, if you want to find Narasmha, speak to our mother. So like a voice in me said, okay, I'll go, why not? I said, what about food? Don't worry, we'll feed you, no problem. So I go outside. Now, all of a sudden, outside, 4 men, big men, come with machine guns, would start walking next to me and the girls. I said, "What's going on here?" I thought they were kidnapping me. Maybe they will sell me or something, And what's going on? They said, "Oh, no. Sorry, this is, our parents forced us to go like this." I said, "What's your problem with your parents?" And then in front, these fancy cars, like Mercedes, Rolls Royce, in the middle, and then 2 Range Rovers on each end. The security opened the door for all of us. One girl gets on left side, one girl gets on right. I'm in the middle, in the back. I come from the jungles, 7 months, tapasya. Now I'm in a fancy car, AC car with these 2 beautiful girls. So I was thinking to myself, what is going on here? We start driving. We come to the big mansion. Like here you have this area where this Lal lives. What is the name of this area? Yeah, fancy, like Hollywood. So we went to this area and this huge mansion, and the girls get out. Go see her. She's waiting for you. We have stuff to do. We'll see you later. The door was open. I start walking to the door, and I look inside. I hear the bell. Ding, 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 ding. I look inside. There's a small old woman sitting in front of an altar with like hundreds or 1,000 Narasmha deities. Every style, gold, silver, crystal, big, small, stone, metal, like wood. Huge altar. She's offering a lamp, ringing the small bell. And I was like, oh my God, this is my dream altar. This is exactly what I want. And so my breath, I was like, like in America we say, took my breath away, right? So she heard me. I was like, oh my God, I want to steal all the things, And she said, oh, hello, please come in. So I went inside. She said, sit next to me, come, offer a lamp to Narasmha. We have been expecting you. He told me you were coming. So I was like, okay, skeptical. He told you I was coming? Maybe she's a little crazy woman, Yes, he told me. I have to help you find him. I said, okay. Well, you've helped me. He's right here. Hundreds of deities. I want them all. She said, oh yes, he said you would ask me, but no. You cannot have any. They are mine. I said, but please, one to the small. She gave me a small deity. Very powerful woman, Yad Giri Padmanabham, her name was, pure soul. She said, my son, she kept calling me her son, my son, tomorrow we will go to see Narasmha. And you will be shocked. But tonight, let's come have some food. We enjoy. The daughters came back, we're talking. Then I'm starting to understand her story. She's the amma, the mother. Her husband's very, very rich man, billionaire. Big industrial guy, farmer guy, huge guy. But they could never have children. The wife was impotent and the husband was impotent. Both cursed. So they flew everywhere to try this alien stuff, the egg they take out, they put the sperm in there. What is it called? Artificial insemination. Not so good for devotees. Because if your karma is not to have children, and you forced to have children, then you will lose something else in your life. You cannot swim against the current of karma. So she flew everywhere, and she was already getting old. in her 40s, late 40s, early 50s. So she said she came back home. They all said, no chance, impossible. She came back and she said, I spoke to God. I said, you cheater. You cheated me. You gave me this body and I cannot even have children. How cruel are you? How can you? I trust you, rascal. She told me, she said, rascal you are. Is this a joke? So, after this conversation between her and God, she went to bed. And Narasmha came in her dreams. He said, you are not a good human being. What have you done in your life for anyone? Nothing. You have only done for you. You have done no tapasya and you have done no seva. Not even for the animals. And then you want everything? So this was her dream. Next morning she woke up and she immediately understood that without tapasya, how can we expect anything? So she went to a temple called Sholingar on a gigantic mountain outside of Chennai, kind of on the way to Tirupati. She took off all of her gold, 5 kilo gold Mangala Sutra, gold bangles, diamond, Rolex, everything. She went to the base of the mountain. There were steps. She only wore simple sari and she became a beggar, begging for food at the bottom of the mountain. And every morning she would walk up the mountain like a dog on the hands and knees. She would not walk on the mountain. The mountain's considered Anantasesh. She did this in the month of Kartik. Kartik's coming. Anything you do has a 10,000 time result, right? Anything you do bad and anything you do good. 10,000 result in both. So, she was doing this and only begging for the food she got. Showering like with all the beggars. And on the last day, and even her husband was sending the Rolls Royce, the security, she said, get out of here. Don't ever come back until I am done. So the last day of Kartik, the full moon, Purnima, she went to bed. Narasmha came and said, I will give you 2 daughters, both born on Narasmha Chaturdasi, 2 years apart. These are the 2 girls I met in when I was trying to get my hot chocolate. So these girls, oh, thank you so much. These girls, because of them, I met their mom. So then she dedicated her life to Narasmha. And she was so powerful woman. Some of the Brahmins in Tamil Nadu are very racist. It's understandable because the Christians came, the Portuguese, the French, they came and they tortured and killed the Brahmins. So naturally they're a little racist towards the Westerners, white people, and especially the French. So some of the Brahmins, they will not let you in the temple. No white people allowed. So I went with her a few of these temples, and she was a small woman, but she became like a lion, screaming at them, like cursing them. And then they would say, okay, Amma, okay, I can come and have darshan. So we spent quite a good time together, And she showed me like 5 awesome Nrsimhadev temples. And then I had to continue my way, my search. I couldn't stop. I found one temple, Singha Paramakoil. where the his name was Lalu Rishi. Anyways, one Maharishi was doing tapasya in this cave, and Narasmha can be a few colors: white, bluish like sham color, white like the moon, golden, red, and yellow. Yeah. So the Lord manifests in this cave as like this reddish effulgence glowing like rubies, as this yoga Narasmha. So you go inside and it's such a small cave, like you have to go down tunnels, and then you come, and there he is, this gigantic, bigger than the ceiling, the head. And your mind is blown because he's sitting down. So if he was standing, he would be almost double this size. And he has a big third eye. And the main Brahmin, his name was Narasmha Swami. And he was a Narasmha Swami, this guy. He was like, and he spoke perfect English. So through him, I also found many other temples. And he was already old. I think he was 72 at that time. But he didn't look old. He looked like maybe 45. So he helped me find Namakal Narasmha, huge Ugra Narasmha on the way to Pondicherry in the jungle. Now Namakal Narasmha is another one inside of a cave. And I told a pastime the other day about how Narasmha or Vishnu, when the demigods, they were really worried. Because Hiranyakashipu was the most powerful of all demons. No other demon. Ravan was nothing compared to Hiranyakashipu. Shishupal, none of them. So the demigods were a little scared naturally. Bhagwan, are you sure you're going to be able to defeat him? And Vishnu was lying on Ananta Sesh, relaxing. Yeah, no problem. And they would come back next day. But really? But can you maybe give us a hint? How will you kill him? This is not possible. He can't be killed. Up or down, in or out, day and night, weapons. How is it? What are you going to do? Okay, you became Varaha, but this is different. His brother didn't have all boons. And he stole all of our power. Don't worry, my devotees. So finally, another day. And then they were going to Narada Muni. Please, Narada, you know everything. Can you help us? Just give us a hint. Well, don't worry about it. You've never had to worry. So they again went back. Oh, Bhagwan, you have to take this fear from our hearts. You are our Lord and Savior, so please remove this fear. So he showed them his fingers like this. That's the kind of a mudra. He's going like this. And this is the deity of Namakal Narasmha residing in this cave, and it's something you can't imagine, this huge mountain, right? And you go inside the cave, and again, a gigantic deity, 3-4 meters high. Deep in the cave, there's no windows, no nothing. Silence, and there he is. And the deity is Narasmha showing his nails. Lord Brahma is there, Lord Shiva is there, Indra, all the other devatas, and they're looking like this. They're looking kind of around him, like at his nails. And it blew my mind of Yoga Narasmha. And then I became more addicted to this continuation of my journey, because I thought I had already seen so many incredible temples, right? But this blew my mind. These kings of Tamil Nadu, their temples were not little small temples. They were gigantic. The deities were not little, 1 meter deep. No, they were huge. And they were always in caves on top of mountains, inside the ground. And then you go inside and they're chanting the Tamil Prabandhams by the Alvars, greatest devotees, the 12 Alvars. And some of the Alvars were complete rascals like Jagai and Madai. One of them, one of the greatest Narasmha devotees, his name is Krishna. My brain is tired. Anyways, he was complete criminal, murderer, rascal. Some of his prayers to Narasmha, the Prabandhams, are like, they're poems, like Bengali. They're chanting with such love. Oh, my dearest Lord, my best friend, my father, my mother, my everything, kindly give me the shelter of your fingernails. So you're going in there, these Tamil temples, and they're chanting these Prabandhams. I had never heard this. Normally you hear the Sanskrit mantras. And there was something about it. The way they chanted, it brought like tears, the hairs were standing, goosebumps, and you would be lost in their trance. So all through Tamil Nadu I traveled like this, right? Temple after temple. After this amazing woman, Yadgiri Padmanabhan, I found 50 temples on my own. Obviously later I found much more, hundreds. But then I was thinking, wait, what about the next state? Kerala. Which I didn't know. So many Christians went there. And there's churches, right? So I hopped on a bus, it's right next door, so close. And I show up at one of the main towns, Cochin, and they tell me, oh yes, the bus driver, all I could understand is Mandir, and he pointed, Devasthanam. And I could see the top of a temple in South India. The temples are very beautiful. They have these big arches. They're called Gopurams. And I was like so excited. I was like, oh, I'll go there. Maybe they'll know temples. And I start getting close to the temple. And on the front, I see a metal cross. I was thinking, what? I said, this looks like a cross. Like Jesus' cross. I said, nah, maybe not. Maybe they're doing renovation, construction. So I start walking in, and it's a beautiful temple. But then I walk inside, and I see on the altar Mother Mary and baby Jesus. And Mother Mary's wearing sari with a bindi, with bangles, with Mangala Sutra, and baby Jesus is in dhoti, like a baby dhoti, with bindi, bangles. I was like, what the hell is going on here? So I grew up in America, so Jesus, you have to give respect to Jesus. He's a very advanced devotee. And I get on my knees in front, in Christian churches they have the benches you can kneel. And again, I'm wearing hardly anything, it's hot, middle of summer. And all of a sudden, I'm praying to Mother Mary, baby Jesus, come inside for darshan. Baya. Okay, you can come close, no problem. Okay. And I'm praying, oh Mother, I really need your help. I'm looking for Narasmha. Can you help me out a bit? talking to the statue, the Mother Mary and Jesus. I said, and then all of a sudden, I feel a tap. Somebody touches me on my shoulder. My son, are you okay? And I turn around and it's a father, In Christianity, they have the fathers, they wear the nice suit, and Father David, his name was. But his name was Father David Krishna Swami Natarajan something. I asked him later, why did you keep, all the Hindu stuff when you converted? Oh, yeah, it's family name. So, Father David was very sweet, had very kind eyes. He said, is everything okay, my son? I said, yes, Father, but I'm in a bit of a dilemma. Oh. Immediately he said, how can I help? Christians are very good at this. That's how they have so many converts. They're always ready to help. We can learn in Islam from this. So, I said, Father, you're like a Christian. You probably don't know anything about this stuff. But I just arrived in Kerala and I'm searching for something. He said, well, how can I help you in this search? I said, Father, I'm looking for Narasmha. I didn't even say Narasmha Dev. I just said Narasmha. And I was asking Jesus to help me find him. And he said, oh, my son, I know who Narasmha is. I know some temples. I said, what? You know some? So I jumped up. You know temples? Where? Like, what's the temples? And he said, oh, 1 minute, my son. Calm down, calm down. I said, yeah, but can you take me right now? I want to go there right now. I'll give you money, whatever you want. He said, hold on. Let me make an agreement with you. First, you pray with me in my temple. And then I'll take you to your temple so you can pray. I said, deal. So he got on the knees. I got on the knees. Oh, Mother, thou art in heaven, thy kingdom come. Jai Jesus, Jai Mother Mary. I jumped up. Jai Jesus. And I said, are you ready? He said, yes. But first, most important thing, breakfast. I said, okay. So we had some dosha, idli. And we start going in his ambassador car, and he's driving me to one temple, another temple. And at each temple, he would come in dressed like a Christian, and he would translate the story. And Kerala worships Narasmha in his tantric form. Very, very powerful form. And they worship him as Narasmha Krishna. So sometimes you'll see a shalagram, but they will carve a deity of Krishna with the flute and put the Narasmha shalagram. I never saw this. I thought I knew everything. So he's taking me, we spent like 3 days together. 5 temples he showed me. He would tell me the history. We would have lunch at the Brahmin's house or dinner at the Brahmin's house. Then he took me to a few other temples, Guruvayur, some big, big temples. And then at the last day, the 3rd day, he said, my son, I'm sorry, but I have my duties. I have to go back to my duties. Please forgive me. I said, Father, thank you for helping me. I'm so grateful. He said, but I have to confess to you now something. Narasmha is still my favorite. I said, this is your confession, Father? He said, yes. Narasmha is still my favorite, and I pray to him often for his guidance and protection as a father. And I was shocked. I was shocked. First of all, I was shocked at his honesty and just his piousness in his ability to convey that. And then he left And I spent many months in Kerala I found about, it was 39 temples that first trip. And each one more unique and awesome as the other. And when you go into these temples in Kerala, they're very dark. But they have these, the reason is they have all these paintings on the wall that they painted with vegetable color, dirt, tree bark, so that they can't let much light in, otherwise the paintings will fade. And most of the paintings were Narasmha Leela. Crazy, like he's tearing Hiranyakashipu's intestines out, and then he's biting them like and tearing them, like 32 arms. I've never seen anything like it. And the Keralites were very nice people. Most spoke English because they were invaded by the Christians, the Portuguese. So I would meet many of these Christians, especially the youth. And they would be on their way to, sometimes I'd be walking because I missed the bus, and they'd be on their way to school, groups of them, teenagers, and they would be really, happy to see me and talk to me. And I would say, well, listen, guys, I need your help. I'm looking for a Narasmha temple. Oh, yeah, there's one inside the village. 5 kilometers. You go here, take a left. And I said, yeah, but can you show me? Oh, we have to go to school. I was like, who cares about school? Come on. And sometimes a lot of them, mostly the girls, they would skip school. And they would come with me, walk kilometers and kilometers, talking to me about family and just their idea of God and Narasmha. And then when we get to the temple, and they would do beautiful songs. They knew all the Kerala traditional music songs, but Hindu stuff, It was a very beautiful time in Kerala. I mean, I could go on forever about that. But then the next state above Kerala is Karnataka. Now, I spoke to the Kerala people. I said, listen, what's in Karnataka? Any unusual temples or anything cool? Oh, no, absolutely not. Nothing's in Karnataka. Don't waste your time going. Same thing they said, Why would you want to go to Karnataka? Everything's in Kerala. Everything you need. There's nothing in there. Jai Shri Shri Radha. Madhav Shri Panchatattva Ki Jai. Why the heck would you want to go to Karnataka? So I said, I have to find Narasmha, I have to keep going. So luckily one guy I met on a bus said, look, if you want to know anything about temples, go to a place called Udupi. Now Udupi is special because Madhvacharya found 2 deities of Krishna and Balaram buried in the sand, the ocean. He installed those deities and they're still there. Udupi Krishna. Now Madhva was an unbelievable devotee of Narasmha, even more than Krishna. And he had 8 principal sannyasi disciples, and they had small ashrams. They're called mattas, M-U-T-T, mutts, around the temple. And when Madhva left the earth, when he died, he did not leave Krishna deities for them. He did not leave Vishnu deities for them. He left 8 of his disciples Narasmha deities. And he said, every time it's your turn to do the puja of Krishna, Udupi Krishna, you cannot approach Krishna without worshipping Narasmha. You have to take the deity with you on the altar and worship Narasmha to remove your anarthas, then you can worship Udupi Krishna. They still do it to this day. So this blew my mind. I was like, I just couldn't even believe it. I thought I had already seen everything about Narasmha. I thought I knew everything about Narasmha. And here I am again, like, realizing I know nothing. And the temples in and around Udupi, my God. Whew. They're just mind-blowing. One of them, let me see, there's so many to choose from in my mind, trying to pick. One of them I had never heard of a form, Chintamani Narasmha. He's holding the Chintamani flower, which has unlimited small flowers on it. And you can, it's like subtle, pray to him, take a wish, a flower, and another flower grows. So he will give you wishes unlimitedly, he'll fulfill your desires. This is the essence of Chintamani Narasmha. Also quite tribal. And, oh, sorry, this is my son, so I have to say good morning. Good morning. Good morning, how are you? Oh, nice. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that. Because remember you told me the polls weren't coming through. But I'm just giving a lecture. Yeah, I love you very much. Have a beautiful day, and I hope you get to go to the gym today. I will. Let me see you. Jai Narasmha. Jai Narasmha. I love you, bye. Have a good day. So, Chintamani Narasmha. And then there was the deity I showed you yesterday, the lion Narasmha. Now this was awesome. The first lion Narasmha I saw, I met someone, and this deity I'll show you tomorrow. He didn't tell me that it was in an area where there was elephants. Now wild elephants are crazy, they're very deadly. In Karnataka every month, like many people are killed, crushed. So we drive with this Jeep. I had a Jeep at this time when I found this temple. Me and my friend, photographer, and then my Indian friend, we go into the jungle and we have to park and walk like 5 kilometers into the thick jungle in the Western Ghats. Very heavy, thick jungle. There's leopards, there's leopards, there's black panthers, tigers, and I didn't know this though. So we were walking in there and I finally found him, abandoned temple, he's so many trees and vines, and there's this lion Narasmha. I'm amazed. I'm doing puja, offering a lamp, I'm really soaking up this energy, you know? And all of a sudden the ground starts to rumble. Like an earthquake. Okay? And then I hear the sound. You know, the elephant blowing the horn of their trunk. And I could hear the crashing, smashing the trees and the bamboos, and it was a little distance away, but you could feel it. A big group. My friend says, we cannot be here. We have to leave immediately. They will kill us, trample us to death. I said, no, Narasmha will save us. And my photographer friend already was gone, running like... See? And then my friend, his name was Gopal, Druva, please. And he started running. And I could feel the vibration more, cracking of the pipe, closer and closer. And then in front of the event, there was like a small pond where there used to be a kund. The elephants crashed through, but they were at the kund. It was hardly, 10, 15 meters. And I'm sitting in front of Narasmha and they see me and they're like digging their hooves, going crazy. So I was like, Narasmha. I touched his feet and I just started running like faster than I've ever ran in my life. And I'm like chanting Narasmha prayer. And I was thinking again, oh, Narasmha. This time I think I'll die, because I kept pushing the threshold of danger, right? How can I find your temples? I don't care how, when, or where. I need to do this, no matter how difficult. So the elephant group, I counted 7, but then I didn't stop to count anymore. I start running, and I'm like screaming, and Gopal and my photographer already are like 1 kilometer ahead of me. And I'm going, I don't even look back. I hear the screaming of the elephants. I just run. Hello. And I finally make it to the Jeep. They're inside screaming, hooray! And the Jeep, first I turned it wouldn't start. And then they all, my photographer's like, oh, namaste, Narasmha. And then I turn it, the Jeep started. And then we drove off. And as I'm driving off, I'm looking in the mirror, and the elephants just start coming down the road. And I was like, and my photographer's screaming, are you crazy? Are you crazy? And I said, what's the problem? I said, that was fun. And never again. I'll never listen to you again. And that was one of the wild adventures of finding that. In Karnataka, they worship the snakes, the Nagas. I don't know if you know the story about the Nagas. The Nagas, I want them to hear the story about the snakes, the cobras. Okay? It's very scary. Very scary. So the Nagas are the snakes, right? Cobras. Like here in the Philippines, you have cobras. The cobras are very sacred. They're some of the most amazing worshippers and devotees of Narasmha. Did you know this? Most people don't know this. And in Karnataka, they worship the Nagas. Why? Because you know this Parshuram, the avatar? He killed 21 generations of the Kshatriyas. There was no more kings. So he handed the land and the world to the Nagas. And he entrusted it to them. And he said, when you feel there is a good Kshatriya race again, you can hand the land back to them. So some years came, and went. And there started to be some more pious kings. And the Nagas went and approached them and said, now we will hand the land back to you. But, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. But you have to always recognize our duty. We looked after the land, right? For you. That's why when you build a temple, they do the Naga installation. That's why when they build a house, they do the Naga installation. A shop, whatever. The Nagas are always there. They put a cobra in the ground. So when Hiranyakashipu was killed, the Naginis, the queens of the Naga kings, they're the shapeshifters. They can be anybody you desire. You can come to them, they will come to you, and they will say, what do you want? And you can say, oh, I want you to be this famous model. And they can become. But Hiranyakashipu threw them in the dungeon like animals and made them become his slaves. And he banished the Naga kings out of the kingdom because they could not kill Prahlad. So when they offered prayers to him, they offered with such tears and love. And they said, we are always surrendered to you. And our Lord Adisesha is your carrier. Your lotus feet rest on his head. He is your asana. Kindly always allow us to be near you and worship you. So you'll go to some of these very amazing temples of Narasmha. Chintamani Narasmha, Balabhadra Narasmha, Bala Narasmha, Girija Narasmha, right? And you'll see there's so many snakes on all the pillars. Snakes with 5 heads, snake with half human form of a woman, of a man, snakes with hundreds of heads. Unbelievable. All over the temple, even on the ground. They carve into the ground. And that's what I found out later when I did the research. This is why. They're there guarding Narasmha's temple for him and also worshipping him. The Nagas. So, what time is it? Oh, okay. 7:50. Anybody have any comments or questions? Or anything they want to share about Narasmha? Yes, please.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Haribo. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava Shri Panchatattva Ki Jai.
Yes. I just want to ask about Madhu. I didn't hear about Madhu after you left.
Oh, right. Madhu from Ahobalam.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I still haven't talked to him since then. Back then, we didn't have WhatsApp. We didn't have, email. He gave me his name and his address. But I lost the paper. So, very often I think of him and I wonder, when is Narasmha going to connect us again? Even when I go to Bangalore, where he was from, some of my very wealthy, influential friends or business people, I'll ask them, do you know some guy named Madhu? And they'll be like, yeah, I know like 1,000 Madhus. And I'm like, no, but this guy, his father was really, really rich. Yeah, there's many, many rich people here. And I'm like, oh, because I don't remember his last name. But I realized that someday, I hope, Narasmha will bring us together. And we'll do something amazing for Narasmha. Yeah, he was a far out man. Madhusudana, his name was. And I learned a lot from him about how can you doubt God? How can you believe in ghosts? Believe in, like in the Philippines, if a black cat crosses the road, oh my God, everyone's gonna die. This is such nonsense. If you believe in God, how in the heck can you believe such nonsense? Then you don't have any faith in God, especially Narasmha. He is the god of Tantra. All the mystic, all the witchcraft, all the black magic, voodoo comes from him. How can you... All the Rakshasas, the Pishchilas, the subtle beings worship him. So, this fear, he annihilates. And Madhu also helped me with that. Like he said, why? Don't fear the tigers, don't fear the cobras. One time, I'll tell you one last story about Ahobalam. I've been there over 250 times, and in my life. And I would always do crazy things, go up in the mountains by myself. And the Brahmins would always say, don't, Druva, it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. But I didn't care. One day I was walking up the mountain along the cliff to see Prahlad Maharaj's school where the yoga I like to chant japa there as the sun was coming. And there was a spot, like a big boulder was overhanging, but it was flat on top. Perfect place to sit and chant and overlook the valley, So I'm going up there, happy with my bead bag, and you have to kind of go up and then walk a little down to the boulder. So I start walking down and I see some sort of a tree has fallen on the boulder. And it's moving, but there's no wind. So I'm thinking, what? Oh, I have to move this off the boulder. But as I get closer, only maybe 3 meters, I see this is not a tree branch. This is a king cobra. And he was much taller than me. In the jungle, cobras can stand up half their body. And this guy was much taller than me, maybe 8 feet. And I froze. He was in my spot. And when you're looking at the valley, you can see the Ugra Narasmha temple in between the two mountains. So I'd love to do that. But he stole my spot. So I froze and my foot moved and a rock started going boop, 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 and it hit the cobra. He was like this thick, you know. Yeah, he was maybe thicker. And pitch black. Almost his scales, you could see the reflection. And something blinded me. The sun was coming. Something like a rainbow. Like I used to have a ring. And if the sun would come, it would bing, all these colors. That's exactly what it was. And I was almost blinded. Like a flashlight in my eyes in the middle of the morning, you know. But I was distracted, and then I closed my eyes, I opened my eyes, and the cobra had turned around to look at me, and his hood opened up like this big. And he's just looking at me, and his tongue was like... And I didn't know what to do. I'm standing only, 9 feet maybe away, 10 feet. And I'm a little up, but... So I start talking. I thought I was crazy. I'm so sorry I disturbed your darshan. Please forgive me. I'm talking to a cobra. I didn't know what else to do. I said, please forgive me. Rishi, Yogi, Maharishi, I'm sorry. And then I paid my obeisances on the ground. And I stayed there with a lot of pain because the rocks were stabbing my knees. And the cobra, I don't know if he acknowledged or kind of like accepted my apology. But his hood went down. And then he just started going. And then, I'll never forget, again the rainbow came from his head. And then he just turned around and his body, it felt like it went forever, but my heart was like... So, and I needed to see him again before he left. I wanted to see how big he was. So I started getting up and walking over, got on the rock, and the last of his tail went, and he was gigantic. Maybe from me to the painting, maybe bigger, I don't know. It was so awesome. And I thanked him. I was like, thank you. I thought I was nuts, Maybe that's why he left. He's like, this guy, I think I'll leave. So, and then so every time I went up there, even now, I was there like 3 months ago, when I walk by this spot, I always remember this darshan of this saint or yogi. I don't know who he was, but definitely some exalted person. So, and I never saw him after that. I saw many, many king cobras after, but not that one. That one was like the king cobra of king cobras. So many other stories in Ahobalam that happened, but tomorrow I'll share. I think I told you about the tiger Scarface. Oh, so I was there last year. Many tigers I'd met in Ahobalam, but this guy, I named him Scarface. He had a white, just hair, white color going across his, like a scar. So I called him Scarface. I had many encounters with him, but I didn't see him for like 13, 15 years. But last year, I was going to Bhargava Narasmha in a rickshaw with some devotees, and I saw he jumped across the road, and he's a huge male tiger. When you see them in the zoo, they're big, but when you see them outside of a zoo, they're bigger because they're in their own environment and they don't fear you. So I jumped, the rickshaw driver slammed on the brakes and he's like, freaking out. I jumped out of the rickshaw and my friends were like, no way, Druva, don't go. I said, I have to see him. And I screamed at him, I said, hey, hey, like that. And he stopped. He was already, 10 meters ahead. And he had his big tail up, like a kitty cat, like a big cat. And he turned around, and he was like, with his huge teeth, and it was Scarface. And he knew it was me. I said, it's you! You're still alive? And he's like, looking at me, like I was bothering him. I said, I'm so happy I see you. And then he just turned around and just walking into the forest with his tail very high, like he didn't care. I think he was happy to see me. That was very interesting. I had many experiences with him. Big male. He had killed many, many people. Killed so many people. And many, the adventures, and I always would say to myself, oh, okay, Bhagwan, I pushed the limit now. So I think I've accepted my fate. Okay, you can take me now. I was always praying for him to take me, but every time the opportunity came, I was like, okay, I guess now I did something stupid. I shouldn't have done it. I'm sleeping in the cave. The tigers are there. So now I'll probably die. But unfortunately, I'm still here. So, anyways, so that's a little something. We'll finish up tomorrow with Karnataka and move on to Maharashtra. So, and then I'll have the books. If you want to see the books, if you want to look at the one book, you can come have darshan and bring it down here, then you can look at it together. I'm a little tired tonight, but I did 2 Narasmha Havans today, thanks to Mother Indravali. Nice devotees. We did yagyas in their home. The Narasmha yagya is the most powerful of all yagyas. So Saturday, if you have time, please come to the new temple. They're building this beautiful temple here. I'm very amazed. And then Sunday we'll have the Sunday feast yagya here as well. So try to be here. It's only good for you. So Jai Nishingadev, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Sri Radha Bhattacharya Ki Jai.
This is Druva Prabhu Ki Jai.
Oh, yeah. Also, there's some prasad here. Anybody, Indra, anybody wants some prasad, they can have some. I think this is some cake or something. You can, yeah, you can take it. You guys want?
Okay.
Take it. Here, I don't want to lose this. Please take one. Oh, okay.
Thank you. Divide. So all can get goodness. Mahaprasad.
No, you can all come up for darshan.
Okay, go up.
And then get the books. Hindi, pingin mo ako ng darshan.
Okay, go up, Mata. Okay, go up. Go down.